Chapter 7, Bells of Faith. Holly and Jack dashed through Merry Hollow's twisting streets, their breath creating frosty puffs in the chilly night, the sound of their rushing footsteps shattering the late-hour quiet. The church rose before them, its bell tower reaching for the star-filled sky, throwing a lengthy, daunting shadow over the cozy homes beneath. As they neared, the stone gargoyles lining the tower's edge roused, their eyes gleaming an unsettling red, seemingly detecting the urgency that drove Holly and Jack onward. "Watch out!" Jack shouted as one of the creatures swooped down, its stone wings creaking ominously, the sound grating against the otherwise peaceful night like nails on a chalkboard. Its eyes burned brighter, casting an eerie red glow over their faces, painting their features with a sinister hue. Holly ducked just in time, feeling the displaced air rustle her curly red hair as the razor-sharp claws grazed the space she had occupied mere moments before. "We don't have time for this," she growled, her sugar magic swirling around her fingers like ribbons of shimmering frosting, ready to be unleashed. The magic crackled and sparked, reflecting the urgency that surged within her. They fought their way up the tower, their breaths coming in short, misty puffs that clouded the air around them. Dodging and weaving past the animated gargoyles that seemed determined to impede their progress, Jack's frost magic kept the creatures at bay. Ice crystals formed on their stone surfaces, slowing their movements and giving Holly and Jack precious seconds to press onward. Meanwhile, Holly's sugar concoctions stuck them in place, their gooey sweetness hardening into an unyielding bind that temporarily immobilized the creatures. Each step was a battle, each breath a victory as they inched closer to their goal. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of skirmishes and near misses, they reached the top, panting and disheveled, their clothes dusted with remnants of sugar and ice from their magical battles. The chill of the night bit into their skin, but the heat of their exertion kept them warm. Professor Bobble paced the small room, muttering to himself in a frenzy, his usually methodical demeanor replaced by a frantic energy that was almost palpable. His white hair, normally neatly combed, stuck up in all directions, a testament to the countless times he had run his hands through it in distress. He barely noticed their arrival, continuing to scribble furiously on a chalkboard covered in arcane symbols that seemed to dance under the flickering light of the room's solitary lantern. The chalk scraped against the board, filling the room with a harsh, staccato sound that echoed off the cold stone walls. "Professor?" Holly called out, her voice laced with concern as she stepped further into the room, her boots echoing softly on the cold stone floor. The sound reverberated through the chamber, cutting through the professor's frenzied mutterings. "What's going on?" Bobble whirled around, his eyes wild with a mix of fear and exhilaration. "The star! It's more powerful than we ever imagined." He grabbed Holly's shoulders, his grip surprisingly strong, his fingers digging into her flesh with urgency. His eyes bore into hers, the intensity of his gaze almost overwhelming. "We must reassemble it before it's too late." Jack gently pried the professor's hands away, his voice calm yet firm as he tried to ground the distraught man. "Calm down, sir. Tell us what you've discovered." His ice-blue eyes held a steady, reassuring gaze, a beacon of calm in the storm of Bobble's panic. Bobble took a deep breath, visibly trying to collect himself before continuing. His chest heaved as he struggled to regain his composure, his hands shaking slightly as he gestured towards the chalkboard. "The celestial star isn't just a magical ornament. It's the linchpin of Merry Hollow's existence. Without it whole, the town's magic will unravel, and will be exposed to the outside world." His voice trembled with the gravity of his revelation, the words hanging heavy in the air like a thick, oppressive fog. Holly gasped, the weight of their mission suddenly feeling much heavier, the responsibility pressing down on her like a physical force that threatened to crush her spirit. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat echoing the urgency of their quest. "But why didn't anyone know this before?" she asked, her mind racing with the implications, her green eyes searching Bobble's face for answers. The question hung in the air, a desperate plea for understanding amidst the chaos. It was hidden knowledge, passed down only to a select few, Bobble explained, his gaze flicking back to the chalkboard filled with ancient symbols that seemed to hold the secrets of their town's existence. His voice was tinged with a mix of awe and fear, the weight of the secret he carried etched into every line on his face. I've spent years researching, trying to uncover the truth buried beneath layers of secrecy and time. A low, resonant hum filled the air, drawing their attention to the massive church bell suspended above them. Holly's eyes widened as she spotted a faint glow emanating from within the bell, pulsating in rhythm with the hum. The light seemed to pulse with a life of its own, a heartbeat of pure magic that called out to her. "The faith fragment," she exclaimed, her heart pounding in her chest like a drumbeat, echoing the urgency of their quest. Her voice was a mixture of excitement and trepidation, the realization of what they were about to face settling over her like a heavy cloak. As they moved towards the bell, it began to swing on its own, the hum growing louder, building to a deafening crescendo that seemed to vibrate through their very bones. The sound was all-encompassing, a symphony of raw power that resonated deep within them. Holly reached out, her fingers brushing the fragment just as the bell struck midnight, the resonant toll echoing through the tower and out into the night, shattering the silence with its powerful call. The sound was a clarion call, a herald of change that rippled through the air like a shockwave. A wave of pure magic burst forth, washing over them and spreading out across Mary Hollow like a tidal surge. The force of it nearly knocked them off their feet, leaving them gasping for breath as the raw power of the fragment coursed through their veins, filling them with a sense of awe and wonder. The magic was a living thing, a force that surged through them, connecting them to the very heart of Mary Hollow. It was a reminder of the power that bound them all, the shared spirit that kept their town hidden and safe. Recovering, Jack helped Holly up, the faith fragment clutched tightly in her hand, its glow casting dancing shadows on the stone walls around them. The light was a beacon, a symbol of hope in the face of the daunting task ahead. "We need to hurry," he said, his voice urgent, his ice-blue eyes reflecting the fragment's luminescence like twin moons. "Christmas Eve is approaching fast, and we're running out of time." His words were a call to action, a reminder of the urgency that drove them forward, the countdown that ticked away with every passing moment. They rushed to the tower's edge, looking out over the town that had become their shared responsibility. What they saw made their hearts sink. The once vibrant magical aura that surrounded Mary Hollow was visibly dimming, like a candle slowly burning out, its flame flickering and weak. The glow that had always bathed the town in a warm, inviting light now cast long, ominous shadows, stretching across the cobblestone streets and rooftops like dark fingers. The normally cheerful sounds of caroling and laughter seemed muted, as if the very air was heavy with anticipation of the encroaching darkness. The sight underscored the urgency of their mission, galvanizing them into action. They exchanged a determined glance, their resolve strengthened as they prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that the fate of Mary Hollow rested on their shoulders. Holly turned to Jack, determination etched on her face. "We're running out of time."